Votre Excellence, Monsieur le Président, nous vous demandons d'allumer la flamme de l'espérance. Merci, Monsieur le Président, pour avoir allumé la lumière ou la flamme de l'espérance. Nous vous souhaitons le bienvenu ici à Beka Arena où nous allons tenir notre veillée nocturne en commémoration du génocide contre le Tutsi de 1994 où la vie de plus d'1 million de Tutsis ont été décimées. Merci beaucoup. Votre Excellence, Président de la République, nous allons inviter un des survivants du génocide contre les Tutsis, M. Karangwa Jamaï Vianney, qui va nous partager son expérience dans la manière dont il a survécu le génocide contre les Tutsis.
Head teacher of Saint Family School, and my mother was named after Kahunde Therese. As every other Rwandans who grew up in this country, we lived in divisions in politics, whereby we had what we called in French équilibre, or literally translated, people were being stopped by going to work and in schools just because of who we were. In 1980, we had a new law governing private schools. Our father and our parents started a school. It is called Apakop. And this is where I started my secondary school after the end of my primary school from Holy Family School. Even if this came as a result for myself, actually for the school, it was not that easy. They were giving them very hard time, and it was so complicated for them until the time the first batches. They presented their degrees to be signed by ministry, and he destroyed all of them and said that all of those students cheated. And actually, this was not other reason other than the fact that they were saying that Apakopi belongs to Tutsi, and they were hatred could be seen, could be felt, could be smelled, because of the then politics, which had to put actually ethnic groups within our IDs. Therefore, this was very simple to identify Tutsis. And when they fight for the liberation in 1990, in the night when it started, actually, the military personnel of Habyarimana started shooting in the air, and they started with the following day, actually coming into the houses belonging to Tutsi, trying to find out if, and they come to my own household, our house, I mean. We sat in the parlor. They could check all over in the rooms. When they arrived in the room belonging to my parents, they fell on amount of money, So they started saying that this money belonging to Inyenzi, which is literally translated as so they said that they should go together. We stayed at home, and they started telling us that people should go. My father had cardiac issues, and he started having crisis, panic attack. So when he arrived at the hospital, he was admitted directly in the clinic. And in the following night, my sister, who looked after my father during that night, as you know, every people would like to come to visit my father. They were using the door actually facing Camp Kigali. So when the military came to see, they discovered that actually my sister belonged to Tutsi, and because they saw that in the ID, and they started saying that we have cockroaches within the clinic, So they actually grouped a lot of military personnel to intimidate and look after, these people. And this did not last longer. And within a few time, my father died because of heart attack. And because they said that we should go out, we continued going to Apakop, even though it was so complicated. Actually, understand the fact that they were letting school to Tutsi ethnic group. So every time we could go to school, we were being beaten by gendarmes or policy people or traffic policy people by then. And what we do, we tried to group ourselves into group so that we could go being so many. And as you know, everybody could put on khaki as shorts or trouser. In public schools, they could have white shirt, whereas private schools, all of them were obliged to have a blue shirt, So within Apakop, actually, we could be identified that easily. So we tried to maneuver, so that we hide ourselves. So those ones who could go alone or could go solo, they were being beaten up. I can give you an example of one of my classmates. When we went back to school during the exam, he tried to go solo, and he tried to go to look after his sibling who was working at Isimbi Hotel. When he was coming from there, he first with the roadblocks of military personnel nearby Ecole Belge, they beat him until he was dead. Actually, he was thrown at the HUK, and they say that they killed a thief. Actually, they removed his eyes and nails. We went on studying this kind of, situation. Every time could be beaten in the morning. And one day, the then governor of city of Kigali, Mr. Renzaho, came to school, and they started checking in school, in classes, and every classroom was checked by military personnel. Imagine they were removing, clothes on girls so that they check that on their body it is not written Kigeli, which is the name of the former king, So Shamukiga spoke to Renzaho, and they left the school like that. So the representative of the school was actually killed in the first instance on the 7th of April 1994. Understand that we continued living this kind of situation up to 1994 genocide. So in 1994, on one day I remember we were standing by the roadside with my the boys living in my court. Actually, when genocide took place in Rwanda, I was 21 years old. So they sent people to come and tell me that things were going, apart. Actually, they were informed that the then president's plane was shot, and that the then president and the president of Burundi were killed. So one family from Burundi rang our family to inform them that things were going apart, were falling apart. So we went back home and started asking ourselves what we're going to do. The following morning, we start grouping ourselves, with other boys living in the same quarter. Some of them were working with the Red Cross, and they were distributing food in orphans that was being led by Calcutta, simply because people thought that they could go and find hidden place within church-related institutions. All of us thought that we were going to be protected by, these latter. Unfortunately, they accepted, but they, however, refused to accommodate boys. They could actually accommodate only old men, old women, and children. So all of us were sent away, So going there, it was not that complicated. We didn't have that fence with block cement or bricks, so it was that easy, So what we did was to take our parents there at Calcutta's guest house. And what we did was the fact that we grouped together and we said that if in Interahamwe came, you're going to beat up with them. We are not going to stand so that we can die like that. But if a military personnel come, we'll run away simply because we cannot fight against, guns. We were living in this kind of situation. Then after 2 days, I said that we should go away simply because I could feel that we were going to be invaded by those people. So I myself and my colleague, we ran away into Calcutta's direction. Unfortunately, because they denied us to enter, we had to jump and fell into the gutter that is just nearby the same guest house. Actually, let me say that it's a gutter that carries dirty water from the city center up to Kinamba. So we were trying to evade places that had a lot of water, much water in. We then found Mr. Andre Kamea, and he told us that after 3 days maybe we may survive, simply because RPF say that if they don't stop the genocide against the Tutsi, they're going to stop it. So actually he was comforting us, telling us actually that everything was going to be fine within 3 days. We thought that they were going to arrive within 3 days. So we spent more than 3 days in the gutter, and we were sharing one bottle of water. So I decided to go back in the quarter whereby I could get some water, potable water to drink. So my colleague decided to see me off, and as we were going back home, But in between, the then sector commander, who was called Nyirabagenzi, called the then governor of the city of Kigali, Mr. Renzaho, and told him that Tutsi would like to kill Hutu. So we arrived in a very bad time, simply because we could see a lot of military personnel coming, in. We could hear a lot of noises, and military were shooting. So we were scattered, running in all senses. Let me say that I ran to the house number 3. I ran into a house where boys were playing cards. There were 3, actually. All of them were not being hunted simply because they were Hutu. They were not killing people. So I came back and I started playing cards like them. So a military personnel said he entered and said that no one entered here. I said no one entered here. So he came back and said that, show me your ID. I gave him my Upper Corp student ID and said that, how will I know that everybody who is here belongs to, our ethnic groups? So the mother who was there said that no, all of them are ours, apart from that one. So the military personnel took me outside. That military man took me outside. So he asked me to show him my home. So he had a gun and a machete with him. So my prayer was to being shot instead of being macheted or butchered. So once we reached that house, when I was walking, his colleague told him to finish me. And when I heard that voice, I was shot directly. So he wanted to kill me because he wanted to shoot, me on the heart directly. But I was shot on my back. Then the bullet got out from my neck, and I fell down. Let me tell you that we were shot, being 8 people. 7 of them were killed. Even the one who could not be dead directly was finished by Interahamwe people. And while I was still inconscient, I could see Interahamwe. One of them, Rwanda, looked at me and said, Vianney is dead. And I said, no, I'm still alive. So I said that there is one request. Please kindly take me to Calcutta's house, simply because I thought maybe I could be saved. Or if this is not the case, just give me that grenade and please go. My thought was the fact that I didn't want to be butchered. I wanted at least to be killed by a gun or grenade instead of being butchered. And what happened is the fact that another Interahamwe called Kabanda was tasked to protect me, and he went and brought, the towel, and he put it on my neck simply because I was bleeding terribly. They took me from that side, and Rubaduka called for emergency. I don't know what happened. So what I saw the then parish priest Anaclet, who was the parish priest of Holy Family. He took the risk of coming and take me from the household where I was. So he asked Munyeshaka to accompany him, simply because Munyeshaka was another priest who was in Interahamwe, who is now freely moving in France. So Anaclet took me with his car. We went up to Holy Family. Then we found another minibus full of policemen. We also had actually they had the responsibility to go and remove some of the people who were dead in the parish of Nyamirambo. So I was taken to emergency service of the CHUK hospital, and I was shown whereby I could lay myself, down myself, so that then I said that I could not see anyone coming helping me, So they looked at my neck, and one of the nurses said that I'm not going to do anything about your neck simply because this is a complicated case. So he left me like that, simply because he was telling me that our military personnel are being killed. Now you are bringing your necks, telling us nonsenses, wanting us to help you. No, we are going to help out our military personnel before we save you. So as I was thinking, I could actually tell myself that I was going to be dead within 15 minutes. When I woke up after 15 minutes, and fortunately, I looked just nearby my side. I saw a mother from Nyamirambo, Mrs. Rugumirejani, who was called Thierry, who was called Mama Thierry. I called her, and she was so desperate. She told me to. She told me that this is the sister to Rugumire, this is her son, this is the son belonging to Muyango, and now you're coming. Actually, it was too much. So she told me to just bear with that, simply because she was going to try to see what she could do for me. So what she did, she gave me a plastic bag, full of drip. Actually, she gave me a drip, So she tried to help me by carrying out, some of the medical help, So she took me to pavilion, and I was with another boy on a matla that was on blanket, So she helped me out simply because at CHUK, actually, other people were being brought in a tent, and during the tent, actually, people could come in the night and kill people. So I was lucky to be sent at the pavilion. So even Inerama could come outside from the sectors and every places to come and see the people at CHU and kill them or see look after their people, But during the night, the hospital, they could come and grasp some of the people and kill them. So So doctors could come being helped by the nurse assistant to select people to be killed. So during that night, they looked at me and they said that I was, a very complicated case. Then the following day, the military personnel came in. They came and took outside all the boys, and they said that all the boys that were helping people at the hospital, actually, all of them were killed. And for your information, at CHUK, a lot has happened. They killed a lot of people. This was done by doctors being helped by their nurse assistants. After that, I saw my neighbor who was butchered. Actually, he received one machete. So when they came, they were given a bedroom, a bed at the same pavilion. So when the wife of the latter saw me, she said that they thought I was killed. So by the time they were coming to select people to kill, she was defending me. But at one point during that period, one girl came and greeted me, and she asked me, "How are you doing?" I said, "We are doing fine. How about you?" I said, "I'm okay. How is your house now?" I said, "Everything is fine." So she told me that I started in Kankigali. I know your house, I know your father, I know your mother. So we had what we called maître principal de zone. Actually, it's like education supervisor. So my father was overseeing EPA, Mohima, and Camp Kigali. So which means directly that my father was known by students coming from Camp Kigali or pupils coming from Camp Kigali. So I asked, so she said that, what do you want me to do for you? So I told her that if this could be possible to go back home, to be taken back home, I beg your pardon. So instead of doing that, she went and submitted my names. And at a surprise, I saw military personnel calling my names. I said, "Okay, who is called Mr. Karango?" I said, "This is me." So he took me outside of the pavilion room where I was actually admitted, and the other boy actually went and called for help. And one of the military representing them said, "I stopped you from killing this boy. Just leave him, you know." So the military personnel defended me. I returned back. And when I returned back, actually, the same military, he told to the other family that these cockroaches you are trying to save, very soon they may be killed with you as well. So as you know, if you know the mortuary of CHUK, actually, this is the place where they were killing a lot of people every day. I was sent there like 3 times, but every time God could save me. So they said that they are going home and to look for someone who could come and pick me from the hospital. And then they say that if these people leave, the coming ones may kill you directly. So what I did is I stood up and said that let's go together instead of leaving me here alone. Even if I die during my journey and someone happens to survive from my household, you will tell them what happened to me. So some people had ID from Gisozi, and we could identify ourselves as people from Gisozi. And then the one who had received a machete on his neck could be identified as someone who was fighting against, RPA, in Quartier Commercial, literally translated as commercial quarter. There were no lot of roadblocks. So it was not a big deal. Therefore, fortunately, we could see cars coming from Gikondo or Kichukiro. These were the cars of people actually who were fleeing outside of Kigali. So we went on going down. So Ineramwe took the responsibility of checking the cars. Then we were actually given an opportunity to be served. When we entered into our quarter, I met Mr. Rumanzi, and he asked me what I was coming to do. And I said that where I was, it was horrible. Then he took me in a hidden place of a Hutu who was my neighbor, and I actually found another person who was called Maridadi, and his sister actually were in Milcolin, but they had no clue about where Maridad was. So they tried to identify to find out where Maridad was. They finally discovered that Maridad was in a hidden place in Hima in the quarter. So Maridadi and myself were together. So they searched on how they could come and see us and take us to Milcolin. So at Milcolin, actually, they had some of the policy people who were at Milcolin Hotel who could be hired and be given money so that they can rescue people. Then those policy men, the then traffic police, if I may say so, could come, and they came and took us from the household, that household. They took us to Milcolin, and the Milcolin was protected by the United Nations missions, blue men from Bangladesh. So I didn't know anything about them. So we lived there, and some of the people actually could negotiate with the UN peacekeepers to see whether they could go outside of the country. And I remember that at one point we could see that people who had prise en charge could be relocated from Milcolin. Unfortunately, they went up to the petrol station, and they were beaten, and they were returned to Milcolin Hotel. They were beaten by Inheramwe. So we had to live and to stay there, and we were served by actually the fact that there was an exchange of refugees, So they asked us who wanted to go on the side of RPF. So we were exchanged by those ones who were at Amara Stadium. And fortunately, this exchange was very successful. The UN peacekeepers actually were taken to, took us to the place nearby the convention center, actually, where it is now. When we were in Milcolin, Rusesabagina, who said that he's the one who served us, it is not the truth. He did not play any role, actually. What did he do? He was actually making money. He was making money simply because all rooms were occupied by people. And those people who occupied those rooms, actually, they were signing checks. They were signing checks, actually, the white checks, actually, so he could feel it himself. So the man did not save us. We were saved by RPF in an exchange of people, and we decided to go on their side. So we're taken to Kwibuka, and this is where actually our security was restored. We could see military personnel who could tell us to be calm. Those ones who were actually giving guarantee that nothing was going to happen to us. They gave us, they shaped hope into us. They treated us, they gave us love. They provided us with everything that we were looking for. In concluding, Your Excellency, President of the Republic of Rwanda, I would like to thank you very much with the army that you represented, simply because you rescued us. You helped us to heal our wounds. We grew up, we became men, we started. Now, as we are talking, actually, I'm a married man with 3 children, with a wife. We are no more fearful people. We are no more living in, outside of the house. Actually, the security is guaranteed. So I'd like to thank you very much, and may God bless you. And let's remember and unite and renew.
Ghana Karangwa.
Mr. Karangwa, thank you very much for having shared with us your testimony, which is very hard to understand. Your Excellency, President of the Republic of Rwanda, wanted to ask the singers from Nyundo to sing a song related to this kind of period that we have started today. Thank you, and I submit.
abacu bazize jenoside yakorewe abatutsi twabuze abana ababyeyi n'abavandimwe bazize uko bavutse baratotezwa bamburwa umuntu turabibuka twamenye neza ko amacakubiri ariyo nyirabayazana ubu twese turi abanyarwanda dushyize hamwe jenoside turayamaganye burundu ure Rwanda jenoside yakorewe abatutsi ntizongera turashimira leta y'ubumwe turashimira ingabo z'igihugu tuzasigasira icyo mwarwaniye ubumwe n'ubudaheranwa iyo nzira twamenye neza ko amacakubiri ariyo nyirabayazana ubu twese turi abanyarwanda dushyize hamwe jenoside turayamaganye burundu ure Rwanda jenoside yakorewe abatutsi ntizongera twebwe abana bawe
barakoze abaririmbyi.
Thank you very much. Dear singers, Your Excellency President of the Republic of Rwanda, would like to have the President of Kwibuka, Dr. Gakwenzile Philbert, to give us his remarks. Your Excellency, allow us to invite him to come and take the floor.
Nyakubahwa Perezida wa Repubulika,
Your Excellency President of the Republic of Rwanda and the First Lady, dear dignitaries here today, dear parents and dear survivors genocide against the Tutsi, dear friends, today that we started the period of commemoration on the second time, on behalf of Kwibuka family, I wanted to comfort you, especially you, dear survivors who lost your parents, siblings that were killed and slaughtered just because of who they were, Tutsis. Mr. President, allow me again to thank you very much for the time that you give to Kwibuka family so that we convey our message to Rwandans and our friends who are ready to support and comfort the survivors of the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi. Your Excellency, President of the Republic of Rwanda, commemorating the genocide against the Tutsi is actually a time of Rwandans to reflect, to rethink about the very bad past, the root cause of this problem that we have in the past in Rwanda and in the region where we are located. Especially, it's a time whereby we need to be on the side of the survivors simply because of the wounds, on the physical wounds, psychological wounds, to name but a few. This commemoration period actually is a true way to heal people, to support a very good choice to build a Rwanda that belongs to all of us, Rwanda that instills peace and hope, whereby we will never have any genocide. And something that you spoke about today when you're giving us your remarks today. So the journey of the survivors of the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi actually was not that easy. It was a very heavy burden that we should not have been able to handle ourselves simply because of the brutality of the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi. So this burden was made easy by the support provided by the government. And we are hopeful that genocide never again genocide, As of now, we are supported, and we'd like to thank the government of the unity and reconciliation of Rwandans. You have been by our side in our daily life, in security, justice, accommodation, education, healthcare, to name it but a few. The support that was provided, Your Excellency, President of the Republic of Rwanda, has helped us to overcome the sorrow. We can stand still and we can walk with all other Rwandans to build the countries. Those who survived the genocide of 1994 genocide, particularly against the Tutsi, grew up, started their families. Now they have children and their youth that are ready to help the Rwanda. So those ones who are living with the wounds that can be healed, cannot be healed, they are being supported to live a good life. In the 32 years that have passed, actually a lot have been done. Rwandans have been able to work together, and we reshaped the image of the country that we lost at the international arena. However, We are facing some of the challenges actually that requires to work together, simply because genocide cannot terminate or exterminate one group of people. It also work on the quality and how people live in general. We are talking about the genocide ideology that has started, and everyone could see it, but no one said something about that to stop it. Bad politics for the First Republic and the Second Republic to give, the place to ideology, to deny the rights to some of the group of the people, up to the 1994 genocide perpetrated against the Tutsi, actually has brought some of the consequences in the region simply because of those people, or the perpetrators who ran away from the country. What you can see outside of the country in the 32 years shows actually that a lot of people have not learned from what we had in 100 days. Those perpetrators should be submitted and translated in front of justice, so that the survivors and the victims of the genocide could be given justice. Another issue that we are still facing has to do with the trauma, for the survivor, that is now being, transferred from survivors into their children. So a lot has been done to help the genocide, the 1994 genocide perpetrating the Tutsi survivors. But however, some of the challenges that we have faced actually are long-term consequences and challenges. This is the reason why we need to work together, and this is the reason why you can see that the trauma problem and trauma issues actually has taken another level. This is the reason why we need to work together so that we prevent it and try to treat it through conversation between us within clubs, and other social groups. Actually, we have seen that the country has put and established some of the programs that tell us about the, what happened, in Rwanda, and to help us to know that there is nothing that can take us back, Rwandans where we were. We need to know the history of the country, to analyze it, to grasp it in a very good way. We thank you simply because a lot has been done to preserve the history of the genocide of the 1994 genocide perpetrated against the Tutsi. So therefore, Kwibuka and our partners, we are working together so that we try to put together the testimonies, and this is going to be kept digitally. These testimonies actually are going to help us to continue fighting against genocide ideology, fighting against those people who are denying genocide, protecting the Tutsi, and to educate the future through the youth. Concluding, Your Excellency President of the Republic of Rwanda, on behalf of Kwibuka, we'd like to thank the then military personnel of RPA that you led, who stopped the genocide, and we survived, and you started the government of unity and reconciliation of Rwanda, and country regained the life, and the injustice that's prevailed for a long time stopped. The survivors of the 1994 genocide perpetrated against the Tutsi are grateful for the fact that all Rwandans have the right and the right on our country. On the other side, those ones who are against Rwanda should know that nothing is going to separate us simply because we are united and we are ready to give any cost so that we save this unit. We thank you. Let us continue to commemorate, remember, renew, and unite.
Perezida Kwibuka arakoze.
Thank you very much, President of Kwibuka. Your Excellency, President of the Republic of Rwanda, we are going to have the singers coming from musical students from Nyundo to sing one song that has to do with the period that we have just started of commemoration for the 32nd time. We remember the genocide perpetrated in the Tutsi in 1994.
gihugu cy'uranga butarutwa rw'impanga imigo rudaheranwa n'ingorane
umarira mu gahinda k'indengakamere karahaciye ariko turiho bazagaruka ariko batuye imitima tugutuye turabunamira twiyubaka kandi tujya imbere. Do we need all the needing eyes to see that genocide is a shame to the human race? We rose from the pain, from the tears, from the ashes. How much longer do we have to see never again? Fatanero desse imbere igihugu cyacu abo wavukijwe Rwanda ntibazagaruka ariko batuye imitima tugutuye turabunamira twiyubaka tant des ans sont passés à réapprendre à aimer, tâchant de faire que nos enfants aient raison d'espérer. Nirgoshema tugutisha tubibona nk'intero idusaba inyikirizo umushumba dutezeho mu biganza byacu Rwanda tuzarurinda icyarungabanya cyose umwijima uzagaruka ukundi wavukijwe Rwanda ntibazagaruka ariko batuye imitima tugutuye turabunamira twiyubaka
who departed will never come back. But dear Rwanda, we are ready. That's the reason why we are commemorating today, and we need to strive for the development of the country. Dear Rwanda, you lost so many people who will not return back. However, we are here representing them, and we are commemorating today, striving to work for the development of our country that we love. Rwanda.
barakoze abaririmbyi.
Thank you very much, dear Nyendo students, dear leaders, dear Rwandans, dear friends of Rwanda. Thank you very much for having spent time today with us. The program that we have today comes at its end. However, the week of commemoration is ongoing, and 100 days that are reserved for the commemoration actually are still on. Then kindly remember to leave the candles where you are seated. Gasabo, you take your buses at Rahama and the Remera sector. Thank you, and I submit. Thank you.